I'm Glenn. Dave's behind the camera. We're the NC Beer guys, and welcome to another episode of the NC Beer Buzz. We didn't travel far today, but we're back over in Durham, and almost 2 years ago, we visited over with the guys at Ponysaurus Brewing when they were in the cookery. And you might remember, if you followed us for long, we rode a scissor jack and went up in this little dark corner and saw some great things going on in that dark corner, but we've come a long ways. We're here again with Keil Jansen. He's the brewer here at Ponysaurus, and we're standing in Durham, as I said. This is the front entrance to the soon-to-be open. They are making beer here, but the tap area is not open yet to the public. That's coming very soon, and you're going to see later how it looks when it gets ready to get open. So we're facing Fayetteville Street, Ramseur on the corner, Hood behind us. The address is actually Hood. That'll be the back door. Find the parking lot in the front, right off of Fayetteville Street. So, thanks for having us in.
Thanks for coming.
We've come a long way in a couple years.
Absolutely.
Ponysaurus, a rare little beer. We didn't know what it was going to be. Didn't know who would ever get any of it.
Yeah.
And then not long after that, we started seeing bottles around, and it started being a little more cachet to have a Ponysaurus beer. Yeah. People even figured out what the name meant and where it came from, and that's not even part of the story anymore. I know lots of people ask, but people know already
tell the story all the time.
So this is going to be the front door of the brand new production facility and tap room of Ponysaurus. And the most obvious thing I think you'll probably see for our viewers is this big structure behind us that's going to become what?
So we're building, as you can see here, 2 second-story decks. So people can come in. The areas underneath will have picnic tables, lighting, and then you can, we're building some staircases back towards the wall where you can walk up, and there'll be a second level up here with picnic tables and seating and lighting. It'll be covered in the shade, so it'll be comfortable in the summer.
And substantial enough for future development and expansion.
We have the option of putting a permanent roof on it in the future if that's something we want to do. So yeah, there'll be dozens of picnic tables out here, and then all around you can see
the grounds.
Open space. Will be also picnic tables, possibly some grills, room for people to sit outside and enjoy the weather if that's what they're into, or they can be over here where it's covered, or they can be inside.
That's great. Very good. So let's walk down on inside, see what we got going in the tap room. So what was the idea? Oh, well, let me say it this way. Did you know when you started 2 years ago that this is kind of where you wanted to go and end up, or what did you think?
Well, the whole idea of the way we started Ponysaurus was that if this is to where we got, then this was the whole thing was a good idea. There was never any guarantee we were going to get here.
Right. And there would have been some great satisfaction just for brewing at the old level.
Right. Just for having accomplished that. But you know, after about a year of working over there, we decided that we kind of had enough of a good thing going that we wanted to explore expansion, and we found this place pretty quickly. And,
so this has been in the works for longer than most people might think.
Well, we bought the building less than a year ago.
Okay.
And we've been under construction since March. So we built the brewery in less than 6 months from when we started to when we were making beer, and the tap room will be about 7 months. So a lot quicker than some might have expected. But it seems we've been at it for a while.
We're going to find our way back to the brewery in a minute, but since we're come through the front door, we're going to see what the tap room looks like now, and we'll have some other videos showing you in just a little bit what it looks like when it's finished. So one of the most obvious things is this great tap tower. That's a good way. I was trying to think.
Literal definition.
What do we call that thing?
That's what we're calling our tap tower. We're exploring our rights to the claim of the tallest tap tower.
The tallest tap tower, right? How many taps you got on there?
We have 16 taps.
Yep. Now, will you have 16 beers?
We're looking to have 12 of our own.
And some guest taps?
And then 4 for guest taps.
Right.
Just the numbers that just so lucky that 4 seems to be just about the number of breweries in Durham right now. Okay. So we should be able to share.
Like
share
one for each,
everybody.
maybe? Good. And what else is a beautiful bar.
Yep.
There'll be some seating here, I'm sure, and some space. Now, there's a kitchen in the corner decked out. So what's the food situation going to be?
We're mostly going to be relying on food trucks for our food situation.
Okay.
They've got a beautiful place to park outside where they can plug in, so they won't have to run their generators. But we do have a small prep kitchen with, so we can bring in some prepared foods. If you're interested in grilling, we'll probably have some things that we can do to make that easy for you. And if you wanted to have a small event that had maybe some catering here, we would have our kitchen available for
prep area anyway.
For some prep area, yeah.
Good. Now, these roll-up doors, they will stay, of course. They'll mostly be down or mostly be up for division?
We're going to keep them up as much as we can, while trying to keep people in the tap room as comfortable temperature-wise.
And that's always a trade-off. That's right.
So we have heat in the brewery, but we do not have air conditioning back here. So in the middle of summer, we'll probably have to close them.
And you were saying that the major signage will be over the header of the door, and kind of come down on either side of the tap tower.
Correct.
So while we're transitioning, what does Ponysaurus Beer come to? There are some flagships, still the original ones we knew and loved at first, and of course you do one-offs, I know too.
Yes.
Is that going to evolve and change?
Yeah, we're going to be doing. I mean, we're able to add obviously a lot more accounts to our current lineup, and we'll be adding 2 or 3 more new exclusive beers that are only available at one location.
Okay.
People that we have already been working with, people that we're looking forward to working with in the future. So it'll be fun to have, somebody where you can only get the beer here or in their restaurant. And
you're still fairly local to Durham now.
Absolutely.
Is that going to change?
Well, with the fermentation capacity that we have right now, we probably won't have kegs leaving the Triangle area much at all.
The Triangle area, okay.
Yeah, and
but even that's a little more than you've had in the past. You've really been a Durham-centric situation.
Yep, we've always had one account at Raleigh at Pool's Diner. But other than that, we've been pretty Durham-centric. So we'll probably be keeping our kegs close. But once we have our canning line up and running, that will be going farther abroad. We're talking to a couple of retail chains right now that are interested. That will get us at least limited distribution statewide.
And what is the time frame we hope on some canned product out of Ponysaurus?
Cans will be here in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we'll have our setup and training session, and then we'll be just cranking them out.
So for our viewers, by the time you see this video,
there's a good chance we'll be having our cans.
You'll be having cans out, quite possibly. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Good. So let's walk back and see the guts of the matter. So Kyle described the setup and the production capacity and the tanks we see all nice and bright and shiny. Yep, and we see our good friends' names from the Atlantic Brew Supply. Shout out to Patrick and Christy.
Yeah, we have a 15-barrel brew house that we got from Atlantic Brew Supply, and we have 5 15-barrel fermenters to go along with that. We do have a separate bright tank that's just dedicated for our canning line, but we're not using it right now. So yeah, we can do a 15-barrel batch in here in about 7 or 8 hours. We do them. We're on a schedule right now. We do about 5 batches every 2 weeks.
And I think you said before you've done 8 batches in here already.
Yep.
Right. So this part is pretty fleshed out, kind of how it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
The brewery itself is operational and running and making beer.
Correct.
So
these are probably the only 15-barrel tanks we'll ever have. We'll probably be adding only 30s from here just to make sure we can make the best use of our floor space.
Right.
And then eventually this will be where we can do kind of the smaller one-off stuff, and our regular production beers will be in the other tanks.
Okay. So, and behind Dave is the malt room, mill room, and we've seen the lab.
Yep.
And the canning area will be over here. That's not where it's going to be.
That is where it's going to be.
That is where it's going to be. Okay, yep. I know it's not permanent to the ground floor yet.
Correct. Yeah, we haven't actually fully offloaded it yet, but all the electrical is in place. You can see the drop cords for that.
So tell us, that's something that everybody doesn't know and see. Describe that system, the canning, and what it'll do.
So the pallets of cans come in and sit right here. This is actually our depalletizer. So the way this works is that you put a pallet of cans on there, and then.
And how many cans is that?
Oh God.
Okay.
1,000.
Right.
On a pallet, and there's an arm up at the top that sweeps the cans off, that clears the layer, and they go down a twist rinse tube into the canning line here, where they go in, they get filled.
Cans are pre-printed? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Pre-printed, yep.
Pre-printed cans. This is not
Yep.
one of the systems where it applies the label.
Nope,
Okay,
that's one
okay.
reason we're getting so many cans.
Right.
I think we're going to have 32 pallets of cans when we start. So it comes down, rinses everything, puts them on the conveyor belt, fills them, puts the cap on it, closes the seam on the cap, and then right over where our cameraman is standing, there'll be a collection table where we'll pack them up, and then they'll go straight to the cooler.
And what is it supposed to handle, like per minute, per hour, per 30?
In theory, this thing is rated up to 28 cans a minute.
Okay. So it's all you should ever need for many years, really.
Yes.
Right. I mean, it's not something that you're. For one thing, it's brand new. You didn't buy secondhand, I see.
Nope. I mean, and you know, just again, I don't know, in terms of buying a faster one or a bigger one, I can empty a 30-barrel tank in 8 hours. So it's hard.
How much more do you need?
Yeah, hard to imagine we're gonna need more than that.
Right. Until you get to be the really big boys.
Exactly.
So let's talk personal a minute.
Oh my!
Is this a couple of years ago? You had a certain fire and a passion. And some business experience, but not what you've got now.
Correct.
From running the business.
Yeah.
Has it become more business than beer for you?
Oh no, but the whole startup thing for me kind of focused me on the fact that it's really important to have a balance between whatever you find exciting outside of your work and your work, which can also be very fulfilling.
Sure.
But I haven't done much else in the last 2 years.
I bet.
So having a business that's actually a little more functional is, in theory, going to give me the opportunity to actually go do some other stuff and see my family and see my wife and the light of day.
But how rewarding also must it feel to have come so far,
Absolutely.
as we said, in just a couple of years? Because
Yep.
you didn't know if it was going to hit,
Nope.
and how it was going to hit,
Nope.
and you kind of knew you had sense enough to make good beer. But that doesn't mean it's going to find its place in the market, and yours did.
So
and
far,
the marketing and the branding worked, and that was all in question in the early days. So that's got to be a terrible, great feeling.
The last challenge we have in front of us is convincing the city of Durham that this is a place they should come hang out. I think we've got the beer, we've got the equipment to make it, and now we just got to make sure that people are going to come here and hang out. So,
but they're not unused to or unfamiliar with coming to a brewery and hanging out already in Durham.
Thank goodness we
so
have that
you're not the first to break that mold.
Correct.
And they do kind of know. So like you say, you didn't have a place they could hang out before. So you're not on their list of places they're going to go hang this weekend. Right. Now you will have a beautiful place, convenient, because you are just right down the street
very close
from the
downtown.
ballpark and the Baldwin Tobacco Campus. Fairly easy walking distance.
We're 3/10 of a mile from the ballpark from here.
Right, just happen to be in a place where people haven't usually walked this direction.
That's something
they'll just have to find their way to a different direction of Durham.
Yeah, we're going to help people get used to that.
That's great. We wish you all luck in the world.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us in.
Thanks for coming out.
The next month's going to be very exciting for you.
It's very exciting.
Can't wait to see it fleshed out. And you won't have to wait either, because as this video is rolling, Dave's going to intersperse some pictures of what it looks like, finished product, in about a month, I think. So for the NC Beer guys, this is Dave and Glenn. Remind you to drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.